Dude, you just cut off the wrong funeral. Yesterday I found myself in an unfortunate situation. I had to be an adult. Horrifying, I know. It's all sunshine and daisies when you're a kid and you see all the grown-ups getting to stay up as late as they want and buy nice things. Now I go to bed earlier than I did when I was a kid and have to do things like make myself go to the doctor or what have you. Pretty sure I would have stayed a Toys R Us kid if I'd known how much of a pain in the butt errands are. So I was coming from a doctor's appointment where I got shots and no lollipop, which is bogus, and going to spend way too much money on clothing for myself. I found myself driving hither and yon mentally chiding myself for being so short-sighted when I was a kid. I had it made. Then there was a very long string of cars with hazards on and little flags all making the same turn. Know what's pretty high up there on the whole adulting importance scale? Not screwing with a funeral procession. When you see a hearse followed by a whole big long line of cars with their hazards on in the US, it's a funeral procession. It can suck if you're in a hurry, but there are certain things you simply do not do. Such as honking at a funeral procession. Or shouting what the hell. Let's go, at the top of your lungs at a funeral procession. Or getting fed up, cutting around the 3 cars in front of you, and then bullying your way through a funeral procession making a turn. You know when it's extra super duper important to not do that? When it's a firefighter's funeral procession. Not only because this is a person who willingly enters burning buildings to save people and thus merits respect. You ever see a burning building? I have. You know what I did? Stood there slack-jawed and just watched, but because where there's a funeral for a firefighter there are other emergency responders. Like EMS. Or cops. Lots. And lots. And lots. And lots of cops. All of whom are not in a good mood. So I'm the first in a line of spectators at a T intersection where the funeral procession is driving towards me and turning right. Some idiot 2 cars back in a Porsche starts honking impatiently after 2 minutes. At minute 3 he sticks his head out the window and shouts something out the window, like it's going to help. Gives up on honking and just lays on the horn at minute 4. The procession proceeds because funeral. I roll up my window because loud. At minute 5 the Porsche decides the heads up play is to just cut the wheel, zip around the cars in front of them, and then shove their way through the funeral procession. He made it about 5 car lengths past cutting off a funeral procession before he got cut off and pulled over by a state trooper. Who immediately had backup in the form of the next 3 cars in the procession. They were still there when the procession finally ended. I may or may not have waved on my way past.